Happy Monday. Hooray. I want to talk a minute about masking or pretending, sort of in a few ways, if you would. And I want to start by saying that I do believe that when we do this, we are moving from a place of wanting a good intention. And I mean this across the board for the most part. I do believe that most of the time the intention is pure, or at least originally it was. So, have you ever met someone and sort of pretended to like something that they liked so that they would like you back? And then come to find out, they learned that you never really were actually into that. And if you can never remember the way that felt when that veil was lifted and how like you were revealed. And I'm sure we've had instances of this over and over again where someone has thought that we felt some way and then they learned how we actually felt and it was different. We can sort of see that shift happen right before our eyes within that person. So fast forward to masking in a way of your physicality. I understand that most of the time when we do this, we are wanting others to see a version of ourselves that we wish we were. I can see it through the filters that it's like, it's close, and if I'm honest, I think that if you were to use the filter in a way to practice, like a self-love thing, it could actually be a beneficial thing. Similar to how when I practice body manifesting, I look at another person and let that be absorbed in my being. Like we could use these filters and things to make us appear differently in a way of practicing that in our imagination, because that's how we manifest, That's the only thing keeping our physicality stagnant. And that's really weird to learn in the beginning, but it is the truth. And I'm about to come up on my 8-year anniversary of this truth for myself and teaching it to others. So that's not really the thing up for conversation. It's the idea that every time you're putting yourself out there in a way that isn't you, you're potentially setting yourself up for that moment of revelation where it could feel not good. It could feel disappointed. It could feel very much not like what you were wanting it to be all along. So there's a couple of things that you can do. This is not to say that using filters is bad. Sometimes I use them too when I'm playing with my reels and things. It's just that you don't want to make yourself appear so different that when someone sees you in real life, they don't necessarily recognize parts of you. If you are like blurring out parts that you don't think others can love, that's something for you to practice loving as soon as you can. And usually it's not going to be a direct hit. Usually we have to start general. I always remind people I started with my hands. That was the only thing on my physical body that I could like at the time. But I let that grow. And you can also do that you can pick one body part. It can be anything you like, anything physically about yourself that you like. And you can let that enhance the other parts. And practice looking at yourself lovingly. Practice knowing that you're a desirable being. Practice knowing that you, exactly as you are right here, right now, today, are worthy of love, honesty, and authenticity. You're worthy of magic. There doesn't need to be a man behind the curtain. It could just be you. And that's enough. And practicing that a little bit within ourselves privately helps set that pulse and gets that magnet going so that others are, in your experience, doing that to and for and with and through you. But there is a point of self like investigation. Am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Has this worked out for me? Have I gotten into situations where this has made me feel not good? Has this let me down? Could this let me down? Like, can I be more honest? Can I be more clear? Can I be more me? And if I can't, why? Sometimes sitting and just asking ourselves these questions, it's a little hard, but we can sit and hear and soften ourselves through it and bring each thing into a higher level of experience through our manifested reality. This is what we're doing all the time, and we can do it in a deliberate direction, or it can be all topsy-turvy, upsy down on the inside of the washing machine, you know? All right. I'm going to get ready to start the day with the littles, and I hope you have a great day too.